best in the future. And come out and see us again sometime.
Thank you very much.
Well, there we are then. That's Dimitar Berbatov giving us a fantastic journey through our wonderful football career. Thanks for watching.
If you enjoyed our Berbatov JD Meets series, keep an eye out for our episode with Tottenham star Jan Vertonghen, who opens up about the club's Champions League defeat to Liverpool in Madrid and looks ahead to the upcoming season.
What do you need to do different? Is it as simple as a one-off game and you just have to write it off as such?
Yeah, not concede a penalty after 20 seconds would definitely help us. You know, it was a very, very unlucky start. I think everyone knows it wasn't a penalty.
What needs to happen in the Premier League now to get you back into that picture?
We were not as strong, especially at Wembley, as a home ground as we've been in the previous seasons. So if you look at the season before, what we did at White Hart Lane, we barely lost, and I think we. Compared to the last season, we lost too many games.
Well, it's time for a very special JD Meets. With me is Jan Vertonghen, who's now a 7th-season veteran of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, a defensive record setter as far as they're concerned in Premier League context, twice on the PFA's Team of the Year, a Spurs Player of the Year as well, and of course here for the International Champions Cup. Now, you've just touched down in Singapore. Time to have any impressions of it? There's a pretty good backdrop behind us.
Yeah, we obviously I've seen my room, and I've got a beautiful view of the city. It looks great, and yeah, hopefully we got a bit of a time off to have a walk through.
Now, when you find out where you're going to be on tour, do you start researching, or when someone mentioned Singapore, did anything come to mind? Did you have any preconceived ideas?
Maybe in a post-season tour, but in a pre-season tour, it's mostly I'm just training. Sleeping, doing a couple of appearances and the games, and yeah, we normally don't get to see too much from the city.
Now, in a professional context, you've experienced so many pre-seasons already. What do you personally look to get out of a pre-season?
Yeah, I'm happy we've got a decent pre-season now. Last year was very difficult with the World Cup. I had literally 3 training sessions before our first Premier League game, and that was very tough. I suffered a couple of injuries because of that, probably later in the season, but now we've got like a decent couple of weeks, and I'm looking forward to get myself in the best possible position for the first game, and yeah, I'm looking forward to that. We have a great team, and yeah, hopefully we can get better in pre-season again.
It's interesting you mentioned the World Cup, because you'll have had an amazing squad with people who'd run a long, long way in that World Cup, whether it was to a third-place finish, whether it was to winning the thing. Now players will come back maybe not buzzing as much, not distracted as much. Is that good for the football club? Does that mean the focus will be on club football for Tottenham Hotspur?
For Tottenham, it's definitely better, I think. Yeah, we get nearly every player back a couple of weeks before the start of the season, and I think that's what you want. You want to train together. You want to be on the same level when the season starts.
What does the manager in particular like to set out at the start of a pre-season about what his and the coaching staff's goals are in terms of when you get deep into the season? Because you guys are always competing now on a couple of serious fronts towards the end of the season.
Yeah, first of all, you want to get that fitness and that sharpness back as soon as you can. Yeah, you want to integrate a couple of young players maybe, and then improve things that we maybe lacked last season. And we've been together for a long, long time now with most of the guys, and that helps definitely in pre-season to give what he asked from us.
You, as I said, have grown used to competing very, very deep in the Champions League, obviously being up there competing at the top of the Premier League as well. Is this something that has helped the squad? Do you feel that you're a tougher unit as a result of that, that you know what to do when you get beyond Christmas, you know, and theoretically things start getting tougher?
Yeah, getting to the Champions League final and in previous seasons competing till the last couple of days for the Premier League definitely helps us realise, you know, that we have enough quality to compete at every level, and yeah, that gives us a lot of confidence going into them top games.
Talking about the Champions League, all the way there, but it wasn't to be. Now, how do you deal with process that mentally? Do you put that behind you, or is that something that will say, right, this is the level we're at, we're going to do that again?
Yeah, to process it first is very tough. It's a Champions League final, and you only want one result out of that, and it was a tough one to take. We gave everything we had, but we were not able to win it that day, and like I said, it gave us the confidence to try it again this year, and we will improve. Hopefully we will get there again, and we get another shot at winning the Champions League, and yeah, I can't wait to try it again, actually.
Yeah, well, you talk about trying it again. I mean, you know, we've seen, broadly speaking, there's a history when a club gets there once, they tend to be around there, you know, again very soon afterwards. What do you need to do different? Is it as simple as a one-off game, and you just have to write it off as such?
Yeah, not concede a penalty after 20 seconds
yeah.
would definitely help us. You know, it was a very unlucky start. I think everyone knows it wasn't a penalty, but okay, it happened. Liverpool had a great season, and at the end they deserve to be there as well. And these games depend so much on details, and yeah, hopefully maybe in the next couple of years the luck is on our side.
If you look at what happened in your season as an overview, obviously that remarkable turnaround to even stay in the Champions League and then get there, that defined your season. Meanwhile, on the domestic front, you were actually just slipping back a little bit, albeit against the most incredible two title chasers we've ever seen in Premier League history. What needs to happen in the Premier League now to get you back into that picture?
We were not as strong, especially at Wembley, as a home ground as we've been in the previous seasons. So if you look at the season before, what we did at White Hart Lane, we barely lost, and I think compared to the last season, we lost too many games. The games that we didn't lose in the previous season, still we managed to be in the top four, which is great. If you look at the competitors, but yeah, we want more this season. We have the new stadium behind us and the fans, so that will definitely help us to reach our goals.
Well, now the paint's finally dried and everything is settled in, and you got your foot under the table with that new stadium. Impressions of what you think that can do to you in terms of what you do on the pitch?
It means a lot to us. I think we've shown that at the end of last season as well, especially against teams like Man City in the Champions League. I think it definitely helped us to get through to the next round there. It was a home stadium, and the fans that come with it are extremely important for a club, definitely. And yeah, I can't wait to play there a full season and compete yeah, with the top teams again.
You're a very close-knit bunch, and that's been as much a product of the fact that there haven't been many new faces coming in. Essentially, do you think that has helped Spurs to get to where you are right now, or do you think it's critical that you also freshen the mix up a little bit?
Yeah, we managed to keep the most important players through the years, and that definitely helps that the core sticks together. It's my 8th season here now, and Hugo's as well, and a couple of guys, the 4th, 5th, 6th season. So that helps definitely, like I said, in pre-season to get things straight and to get it at the same level.
Is there a danger, though, that you might feel complacency, that you're guaranteed a place, that, you know, this is us and no one else can get into the team?
There's always room for good players, probably, but like I said, the core of the team is here, and now with Tanguy coming in, he looks like a great player, and yeah, we always welcome great players. Yeah,
just talking about Tanguy a little bit, obviously it's hard to judge someone individually when they have just arrived, but thematically, that central midfield, having someone who can come in and bring it, do you think that was an area that you look to strengthen?
I think we had great central midfielders last season, but like I said, sometimes yeah, someone just comes in and it's yeah, the season will decide what will happen. But yeah, I think on every position we did great last season, and yeah, hopefully we can stay together and battle for more next season.
Yeah, as you say, you know, you've been there. You're coming into an 8th season. You're clearly one of the leaders in the team. You know, you're missed when you're absent, as you were for a couple of months last season. What is it about what's happened at this club and what you see and what you enjoy about it that has kept you involved in this project rather than going somewhere else?
It's a very good team and club to play for. I had everything I wanted in Tottenham for the last years. My family's happy here. I'm happy. We're competing at the highest level. The Premier League is the best league in the world to play in, I think. And yeah, just competing at that level, not every 4 or 5 weeks, but every single week, sometimes twice. Yeah, it just keeps you young.
This is Bangkok and the Rajamangala Stadium and the Under-23 Championships of 2020, and this is closer to what the organizers envisioned when they gave the hosting rights to this football-loving mad capital. Look at Group A, in which Thailand, the host country, is in. Bahrain and Iraq drawing 2-2 earlier on. Thailand, of course, with 3 points right now, and 3 nights after becoming the first team to win at these AFC Under-23 Championships. They can become the first team to qualify for the quarterfinals of this tournament if they beat Australia this evening. The Saturday serenade will surely start in a while for the young elephants as they go to war against the Olyroos, who will pretty much be appreciative of the fact that it is a late-night kickoff for this game, because they looked pretty gassed out in the final 15 minutes of their match against Iraq in the first game, taking a 1-0 lead and failing to hold on to that, while the Thais were rampant and enjoying themselves to its fullest tilt, sending a statement to the rest of Asian Under-23 football tournament and their competitors by running riot against Bahrain and winning by 5-0 in that one. Quite a mean feat, considering that before this tournament they hadn't even won a game at the AFC Under-23 Championships. They won it by 5, scoring 1 goal more than they did in their previous 6 appearances in this competition. So that certainly was a real signal of intent from the Thais on how they're taking this tournament and trying to qualify for the Olympic Games in Tokyo at the end of July. Well, because of that, the crowd have come out, and 5 goals in their bag already. Consider the fact that Bahrain actually were leading twice against Iraq before the Iraqis pulled out a 2-2 draw. Tells you that they weren't slouches either. Probably not at their best against the Thais, but to knock 5 against them tells you all you needed to know about the watery, cascading football that the Thais played on that day, when the rhythm was finger-snapping good. So here come the teams. The young War Elephants with the youngest in the tournament, the number 17 there, Supanat Muanta, all set and ready to clinch victory against an Australian side who, aside from qualifying for the quarterfinals of the first edition in 2014, haven't really done too well in this tournament. In fact, they haven't made it out of the group stages in the last two tournaments, including qualifying tournament of 2016. And this was the last time that the AFC Under-23 Championships served and doubled up as an Olympic qualifier as well. The last time the Australians qualified for the Olympic Games was 2008 in Beijing. In fact, that was the only time they qualified for the Olympic Games since joining the Asian Football Confederation. Before that, from 1992 to 2008, they made it 7 in a row, plus their seniors qualifying for 1958 and 88. 9 Olympic Games they've gone through already, hoping to make it 10 by the end of this tournament in a week's and a half time. For the Thais, they've never qualified for the Olympic Games as an under-23 event, hoping for this to be the first time ever they did qualify with their seniors in 1956 and 1968 as well. So very much a chance for a young man to write his name into history and to produce chapters in his career that'll be talked about for a long, long time to come for the rest of their lives. The national anthems before the match between Australia and Thailand.
ท่านผู้มีเกียรติทุกท่านครับขอได้โปรดยืนตรงเพื่อแสดงความเคารพเพลงชาติออสเตรเลีย And now the national anthem of Thailand และขอได้โปรดแสดงความเคารพเพลงชาติไทย
A difference a month makes. Just a month ago, in December, they were knocked out of the Southeast Asian Games. The whole nation came down hard on them and thought they had no chance whatsoever. If you can't do it against Southeast Asia's best, how could you against Asia's best in the under-23 level? And then all of a sudden, that 5-0 victory has seen the Rajamangala rocking, rip-roaring all over again as they welcome the Thai team, who were given a rousing ovation when they stepped out for their warm-ups earlier on. The Australians have got their own band of supporters here as well. They're hoping for their first victory since the 17th of January against Syria in 2018. That was their only win at the last tournament, which was achieved in the second match. Well, they're hoping that the second match of this tournament goes that way as well. And this is the starting lineup of the Australians. 6 changes from the team that drew 1-1 against Iraq. The only players that keep their places are the goalkeeper and 3 of the 4 centre-backs, Glover, Gersbach, Ryan and Deng. And the other player being the number 11, Rino Piscopo, who scored the opening goal of the tournament with that thunderous free kick against Iraq. Akira Nishino, the coach of Japan, has said that he might keep the same team. So for the first time ever in charge of the under-19s, Nishino does keep the same starting 11, which means there's no place in the lineup for the man who came on and scored 2 goals in that match And that, of course, is Jaronsak Wongon. The referees from Saudi Arabia, Turkey Mohammed Al-Qudai, who is refereeing his first game of this tournament, assisted down the lines also by Saudi Arabians Maki Al-Bakar and Khalaf Zaid Al-Shamri. Where were you on Wednesday? Well, some of them weren't here at all in what was a very quiet atmosphere in the opening minutes before they all roared and started banging the drums to the rhythm of the Thai football, which was infectious. Two coaches that have been to the Olympic Games already as coaches of their national sides. Graham Arnold, of course, was the coach of Australia's last visit to the Olympic Games in 2008, and Akira Nishino coached his Japanese squad to the 1996 Olympic Games, where he achieved the miracle of Miami. The Japanese team, of course, beating Brazil by a goal to nil before bowing out on goal difference to the Brazilians and Nigerians, who both made it through to the semi-finals of the 96 Olympic Games. Well, he's done the miracle of Miami. Can he now make it the miracle of the Rajamangala and Bangkok by pushing a Thai team whom a lot of people had given up hope on, especially over the last 2 years, where the top dog of Southeast Asian tags have been taken over by Vietnam, and in times of dire desperations where the crowd and everybody has given up hope on you, that's when heroes rise, and we saw a lot of them 3 nights ago. It was a display of hunger, desire, and finishing prowess of the clinical proportions. Goalkeeper Kirafat becomes the first Thai goalkeeper to keep a clean sheet at the AFC Under-23 finals with that win against Bahrain. So Korapat Narichan keeps his place in between the sticks. All set and ready to go then. Thailand, a win here, 90 minutes away from qualifying for the quarterfinals of the AFC Under-23 Championships for the very first time, and they need to be switched on from the get-go. A chance for Korafat actually to pick up the ball because the large claim of the Australian decided to take no chances at all. Well, the Australians were almost playing a 4-1-3-2 formation in that game against the Iraqis. Let's see if they keep it that way as well. And you can see that just behind Agostino, the striker up front, there are the 3. Piscopo has started down the left-hand side just as he did against Iraq. That inverted winger style, cutting right back inside his favorite right foot to take those pot shots at goal. Well, they're trying the direct route early on here, the Australians. They get themselves in a dangerous position, and that's brilliant tackling at the end from Thailand, and needed to be as well by Sarawit. Chance for the number 16 to come away with the ball, and he wins the free kick by being brave and hanging on to it in the first place. Sarawit Pantong. A lot of people thought that all the plaudits went to Sufanat Muanta and his brother Supachok in that match against Iraq, but football purists will tell you that he had a splendid game right in front of the back four, being the quarterback of the team. Number 16, they felt that he was the man of the match. It's a different atmosphere here for the Thais. Sometimes it can spur you on and give you extra legs. Sometimes it makes you really weak at the knees, because the crowd in front of you does instill some tentativeness in young legs. And we've seen in the opening exchanges, it's a nervy start by the Thais. It's one thing to come into a match where the crowd are not expecting. It's another to go in when they are expecting. Australia breaking the offside trap. It's not the best of crosses in the end. Graham Arnold not have been too happy with D'Agostino's contribution then. Scored the 2 goals in the qualifiers against South Korea to ensure that Australia made it through to the stage as the best runner-up side. Just the 3 matches that they played in the qualifiers, 2 wins and that draw against South Korea with those Nicholas D'Agostino goals. Not the best of kicks, wasn't the best of the controls. It helped out as well at the end from Bowman. He is one of those players that Arnold is counting heavily on. It can be pretty quick. Graham Arnold, who by the way also played at the Olympic Games. The Olympic Games of 1988. And he figured for 3 matches there. These 2 managers have got history with one another as well in the Japanese Football League. Graham Arnold, in fact, scored the only goal in the game against Kashiwa Reysol, the first side that Akira Nishino managed in the J League. That was way back in 1998. So he's inflicted some pain already in Nishino. Not so much in the foreseeable future, because he went on to really distinguish himself as one of the best coaches in all of Asian football, winning a couple of J-League Manager of the Year awards, as well as the AFC Coach of the Year award in 2008, Nishino. But still, he will remember the figure of Graham Arnold scoring for Sanfrecce Hiroshima on that fateful day in 1998 against his Kashiwa Reysol side. D'Agostino certainly has the height, and they've used him instead of Touré in this match. A lot more of a target man, and will leap. He's got that extra weapon as well, as we can see there. Long throw that went straight into this penalty spot. It's a very good start to this match by the Australians, who are playing more free-flowing football after 5 minutes. But the Thais were under pressure for a couple of minutes against Bahrain in the opening exchanges. Kept themselves very tight and disciplined. Just that leg which was stuck out down there. And a chance for the breakaway right now from Thailand. Certainly have pace whenever they release themselves on the counter-attack. Anon Ananlit, a brilliant play from him. Couple in the box asking for the ball. The delivery, though, was just a little too low. Couldn't get to the head of Super Chai Chai Dead. And a chance for the break right now, keeping themselves onside. And absolutely wide, trying to use the width of this pitch as much as possible. Easily ghosting past one player. Oh, he tried to open his body up for the shots when maybe he could have actually dragged the ball back. Bowman for D'Agostino, who had kept pace with him side by side throughout. He did have a look up and then decided to go for goal himself, Bowman. Maybe the wrong idea, but end-to-end exchanges in the opening minutes of this game. Pretty good to watch. Not so much for Nishino. Must be cutting a very nervous figure at the moment, because the Thai backline has been breached again and again. Way too easily, way too often for his liking. Ditaton sliding in a little too strong and too hard on Joshua Laws, I believe. No, it's actually Zach Duncan. It's one of three in the starting lineup here who actually came on as substitutes in the last game. Korapatan Narichan has always been second fiddle in the age group levels, in the SEA Games, the Asian Games, and here he is given the starting gloves of an AFC Under-23 Championships. An AFC Under-23 Championships, which are Olympic qualifiers as well, so big gloves that he's had to put on. And despite having some nervy moments, pulled off an outstanding save against Bahrain in the opening game. Australians, though, different proposition altogether when it comes to the aerial ability. Didn't get to see much of that, as that free kick was just way too deep for any of the players to attack it. So 6.5 minutes of Australian attacking blitz against a Thai side who've weathered the storm and have gone up and tried to fashion an attack of their own as well. They really need to settle down at the moment. Just pounding the ball up front at every given opportunity and giving the ball away way too easily. Supanat Muantai, even he is giving the ball away easily as well. Straight away shouted at by his coach, asking him to retain possession of the ball. It's where you need to be a lot braver. Sarin Khan getting the ball back from Titaton. Here is Sarin Khan, who is very much a goal-scoring centre-back. He was top scorer at this year's Under-22 Championships, Southeast Asia's Under-22 Championships. Joint top scorer in that tournament, and there he is, winning another one in the year, asking Super Chai Jaidet to do something about that. He's created enough nuisance to ensure that ball is kept with Thailand. Sorawit, Supanat couldn't produce the nutmeg, which he produced time and again against Bahrain. Titaton, good tracking back and good tackle in the end. Zach Duncan maintains possession of the ball, and there's a lot of space on the outside by Gersbach now. What can the Australian international do? Well, it's very well read, you have to say. We saw it coming through all the way then. Michok Mahasaranukun. Piscopo hasn't gotten into the game as yet. But he's one who can light things up straight away. So something that they have to watch. It's a little bit of a switch already in the Australian backline as Morakutis, who has come on for Gabriel Kleur, has actually gone side-by-side centre-back with Dylan Ryan, and Thomas Deng, the captain, has gone to the right-back slot, of which he plays every once in a while for his club side, Melbourne City. Here's Morakutis all the way back to Tom Glover. Can't find a better name for a goalkeeper than Tom Glover. And save gloves is what Australians expect from him. But, couldn't do anything about the equaliser from Iraq the other day, and he kept one clean sheet in 2 matches in the qualifiers. Laws. Deng asked to rescue that iffy ball. It was very much an up and under. Here's Dylan Ryan, who is playing his football in Holland. One of 9 players called up who are playing their football overseas. Piscopo is playing his football domestically for Wellington Phoenix, of which he scored 1 goal this season already. And he used to be playing his football overseas in Serie C in Italy. Here's Ryan. Morakutis. He's dropped it behind the defense, and yet again, a little sleepy at the back this time. Shinafati Liao, the captain, keeping Bowman in an outside position. Well, communication not there at all. Maybe the crowd's a little too noisy for the players to talk amongst one another. Maybe the nerves getting the better of the players, that they have forgotten to communicate. Happens sometimes, especially with a partisan crowd just screaming in your ear. After 10 minutes, Australia have had the better of the exchanges. Still nothing to show for against a Thai side who've only infiltrated that Australian backline once after a run down the right-hand side by Anon Aman-Lertzak. Couldn't produce the finishing cross. Here's Morakutis, who is Australia's very own version of the goal-scoring centre-back. Tas Morakutis, 2 goals for the under-23s, including 1 recently in the friendly DAS club in China, where he scored against North Korea. Here's Titaton, starting back-to-back matches for the very first time for the under-23s. Sarinkan, that is so very cool. Thomas Deng making sure that he climbed and won that one, and here's space opening up for Gersbach. Was hoping to put a very good tournament under his belt, just to signify his intentions of displacing Brad Smith as Australia's first choice left-back. He is one of 2 players in this Australian team who are playing in their 3rd AFC Under-23 tournament. The other, of course, is this man on the ball now, Captain Thomas Deng. Italiano tried to find space around Titaton, who was very alert. There was a belated flag that came up, and the Australians not too happy with that decision from the referee, but it was a foul and a free kick. Jacob Italiano. Youngest player in their team. It'll be a rightful battle, isn't it, to the youngest player of the Australian team versus the youngest in the tournament. All in that same flank. Italiano against Sufanat Muanta. Shinafat Liao just came storming in against Piscopo and went nowhere close to the ball. Supachok. Well, that's 3 just behind Supachai Jaided. Played their roles to perfection against Bahrain in that opening match because they were so difficult to pick out. There wasn't a fixed position at all for those 3 players. Because of that, the Bahrainis just couldn't keep in touch with them. Here is Supachai Jaided, all gangly, all legs, with a vision in mind as well. Ball was hung up long enough for Gersbach to come back and cover it before Supachok could do anything about it. Now there are players waiting in the box. This is Supachok. Sufanat took too long to pull the trigger. Quick feed by Sufanat. Couldn't squeeze through a bunch of Australian defenders though, and he almost did. So the two brothers combining yet again. This time Supanat, who usually is not afraid to pull the trigger from any distances. And when you're in the sort of form that he has been in, sometimes anywhere, just take a pot shot at goal. It might go into the back of the net. Nishino will be the first to tell him. Despite the 2 goals that he scored against Bahrain the other night, missed a couple easy chances as well. Just feel the Thais are slowly settling into this. Getting a lot more time on the ball. Here's Sorawit. What a player he is, Sorawit. At a time when the Thais needed in the last game a player to step on the ball, when Bahrain a few more pertinent questions. Sorawit was always the person who took the responsibility. Well, he has scored a goal once against Australia, Sorawit. That came back in 2016 when these two met in the Southeast Asian Under-19 Championships. They met twice in that tournament. Thailand actually beat Australia 5-1 in the group stages. Supachai Jaidet scored a hat-trick in that game. Sorawit scored the first of the 5. But in the final, the Australians took their own measure of revenge by beating Thailand by the same scoreline, 5-1 in the final of the 2016 Southeast Asian Under-19 Championships. The Thai centre-back on the ball now. Sarin Khan actually scored Thailand's only goal, the consolation goal in that final. Kritsada, who is very much the destroyer in midfield. He can pick a pass as well. That is a very good ball to find Supachok. That is a very good build-up play. This from Thailand. Supachai back to Supachok. Had to recycle because it's good organized defending by the team in gold and green. It's a very late challenge on Sarin Khan. The referee might be obliged to blow the whistle then, but he didn't. Italiano just came clattering into Sarin Khan. Actually, it was D'Agostino. Titatonok Somsri, whose twin brother is on the bench. Not the best of throws from the left back and just ran out of room and trouble. Well, there's no give up in the footballing legs of that was a very late challenge that came from Kritsida. Was that looked as if he left his legs off the ground and went storming into the challenge against Italiano, who's got a yellow card. I don't think he did anything wrong. The referee actually turned his back on it and didn't see what happened. There we go. Kritsada's a very lucky boy because he put his leg up, but a lot of it's to protect himself. It could have been very dangerous, and Italiano just followed through with it. Nothing malicious in that challenge at all. By the time he turned around, he just saw Kritsada writhing on the ground and assumed the worst of the Australian and produced the card. Australians only have one player in danger of a suspension, and that's Keanu Bakus, who is on the bench. The Thais have got Supachai Jaidet on a yellow card. Akira Nishino. What a game it was, his 10th as coach of the under-23s, and they produced that scintillating 5-0 win against Bahrain. Graham Arnold and Nishino, both coaches of the senior sides as well. There we go, that's the foot that was up, trying to protect himself. And everyone saw that except the referee, who turned around and was watching where the ball went. They've settled down now, Thailand. And the good news is that they've settled down without conceding anything. Little mess inside the box. On a dime. Ever ready to take that pot shot at goal. That's the reason why he's so very dangerous. Supachai Jaidet. Wasting no time at all. Well, he plays a different role for his club side, Buriram, who are so reliant on foreigners to play in the forward positions that he plays just behind them or sometimes down the flanks. And that's the reason why he doesn't score a lot of goals for his club side. But for the national side, especially at the 2018 ASEAN Football Championships, got 3 goals for the national side. 2 goals at the last SEA Games, 2 at the Asian Games. Hasn't registered 1 here yet. But he is such a difficult proposition altogether for teams who are facing him. So difficult to get off the ball. He is one of those players who lends good height to any attack as well. Thailand got enough bodies to get the ball away to Sufanat Muanta. The teenage assassin Sufanat is almost overrunning it. There's a little bit of nerves in Sufanat. Sometimes it happens with young footballers. We've seen it before. Not very much heralded for a long time, and all of a sudden the news is all about you. The boy wonder who can't stop scoring goals. That's where your muscles just clam up a little bit. Take some time to settle into the game. The faster he does, Thailand will profit from it. Brilliant chase down from Supachai to ensure the error from Tom Glover. One of 5 players playing in this Australian side from Melbourne City. Titaton, delightful ball inside. Here is Supachok, all set and ready to run at the defence. Glided past one, but there was cover yet again. Very tight defensively, Australia. Sufanat wins the throw. It's going for a record for an under-23 player, Sufanat Muanta. He has scored in his last 6 competitive matches for the Thailand under-23s. No one's ever gone 7 in a row before. We're talking about some very impressive names there as well. Including the man that a lot of the Thais feel he is the natural replacement of, Thirasin Dangda. Titaton, yet again looking for some running off the ball, but everything's pretty tight at the back for the Australians. No one's got the skeleton key to open up this lock now. Supachok usually has that in him. It's a lovely ball put behind the defense. Supachok is right there. He was waiting for Supachai to actually make the run inside. That's brilliant defending in the end, just to rescue the situation from Mudakatos. It's good from Thailand though. And this man on the ball especially sort of it. What a brilliant ball that he played in just behind the defense. Titaton. A touch sublime. Sufanat waited too long to play the ball right down the line for the man who gave it to him in the first place, Titaton. Shinafat. Titaton. Yet again. Sufanat losing out in a very dangerous position. Sarin Khan from Supat having to storm right in with the challenge before Bowman could get away. It was a nervous opening for the Shino's boys. And you'd have to say that the last 5 minutes have been very good going for the Thais. Happy days are here again. It's that they haven't done anything of note yet in terms of making the goalkeeper work halfway through this first half. 0-0. Remember earlier on it was 2-2 between Bahrain and Iraq. So those 2 teams are hoping that Australia don't get a result here in order to keep their very own slim hopes alive of qualifying for the next stage. Thailand, remember, can go through to the next stage with a win tonight. Gersbach easily gliding past one and trying to get that going with Zach Duncan. Oh, just hold them back in a yellow card. Zach Duncan of AGF Aarhus combining with his teammate who plays there in Denmark with him. Gersbach and Sorowitz. Pantong, he's a huge difference maker, isn't he? A game changer to the side. Spent most of last year actually on the bench, on the sidelines, because he was injured most of the time. So he didn't make the SEA Games squad. Here he players in the under-23s, and he's been the main difference. Titaton, Supachai, slow and getting up. Oh, he comes off the upright and it goes into the back of the net. Thailand take the lead. Amon Latsak. From out of nowhere, jack in the box. Thailand have gone right ahead with the 10th goal that they've scored at the AFC Under-23 Championships. Absolutely spellbinding by their left fullback, who continued his run forward and played delightful 1-2s with the brothers Supanot and then Supachok. Before drilling this one, he couldn't find anyone inside the box, so he took it on. He improvised, smacked that shot against the uprights, and it came right back to Amon Latsak. And give credit to Double A, because that was an A-star of a strike. The Raja Mangala is rocking to the tune of the Young War Elephants. And what great tunes they have strung in this tournament. Thailand 1-0 up against the Australians. Keep this up for another 65 minutes, and they will be in the quarterfinals. Australians training for the first time in this tournament, so character will be asked of them as Italiano decides to take the fight all by himself. Going solo with that run, boxed out of it, but wins the free kick after an illegal challenge by Kritsada. Well, this is where they need characters, and they certainly had one then in Italiano. Just the verve and chutzpah to take it on. And usually it's Piscopo who takes these on. Goalkeeper Korafat has got to watch. Wall's just given that little bit of room for him to curl it round, but he decides to go for someone inside the box, and it was way deep. Such a good executioner of the dead ball, Piscopo. So you'd have to say that probably was a C on his books in terms of the delivery. There was a slight angle that was opened up at the near post from Korofat. Thought that he might show some interest in that. Well, it was a nervous few minutes where they allowed the Australians to get behind the back line time and again. A lot of times the two centre-backs, Shinafat and Sarin Khan, weren't in the same chat group and weren't actually moving up at the same time as the full-backs. So they kept the Australians onside time and again. Kicked out from the goalkeeper as well. Korofat wasn't very good. The Saudi official now checking VAR. Might be looking into a penalty decision here, because the Australians were claiming there was pushing and pulling and tugging of the jersey inside the penalty box. So surely that was not going to influence anything about that cross that was given. So the review's done, no penalty. Supachok almost trying to get out of the way. Kritsada, who was happy to bite into any challenge, leave his teeth marks there. Any ball that's cleared is cheered on by the home fan. D'Agostino. Here is Piscopo, who always loves to cut it inside to his right-hand side. Gersbach trying to hang this one up, and that's very brave defending. Very good covering of the angles by Michoka, Marcel and Nukun. Piscopo, still Piscopo. Bright's promising run. But look who's there again, the guardian of the centre-backs, Kritsada Kaman. Piscopo's not too happy. It's the second time that Kritsada's left something inside from a challenge. Australians have been employing the long throw at every given opportunity. We saw in that first match that they did it against Iraq as well. So here it goes again. D'Agostino has already heaved one in the box. just gone all the way to the penalty spot. Almost halfway inside that penalty box. Let's see where he goes with this. It's another very long one, escaping even his own strikers. Titaton. Sufanat just nicked it away. Here come the Thais. It's an almost 4-on-4 break now. Superchok's got to play this one right. Thomas Deng is there just in time to snuff the danger out. And maybe the proper pass would have been outside to Superchai. Superchok still with possession of the ball to the very impressive Titaton. Superchok. Sorowit got very lucky there. Kutsara was there yet again, occupying the central striker who might have just been interested in giving any sort of a press. Sorowit, you can watch him play all day. He plays almost in the same form as Titipan Puangchan. And if we go further back, the likes of Tawan Sripan, they used to play the football that way too. It almost seems as if he's walking. He's just pulling the strings at the same time, and the master puppeteer of Thai football. Well, they've got another player in Sorowit Pantong. Fits that mold. 15 minutes remaining of this first half. After slight suffering in the opening 10 minutes, the Thais have come out of their shell and inflicted their very own sufferings on the Australians, one of which has turned into a thunderous shot into the back of the nets by Anon Amonlutsak. That's a very poor ball played out by Tassa Morakutas. Brilliant effort in the end. That would have been some goal. He's got time to laugh about it now. Supachai Jaidet, he certainly has that in his arsenal. But how about that? He saw the keeper out, and the crowd encouraged him to have a pop. Wasn't far away from that distance. He was watching it all the way, and right here he was just begging and begging for it to come down. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Not far. We've had goals, we've had crowd pleasers, and we've had mistakes as well from the Australian centre-backs. It's onside. Supachai, the ball just behind him though. Supachai, danger probably over already. Superchok, too close to the goalkeeper. Couldn't measure it to the run of the bursting Anon Amonlutsak. It was actually Michok who came out from his right full-back position to join in with the attack. It's two mistakes from the centre-back now, from Ryan and Murakutis. It's gifted opportunities for the Thais. Both times spurned by Superchai Jaidet. They need to settle themselves down now, the Ollie Roos. They look shell-shocked. Surely after watching that match against Bahrain, they wouldn't have undermined or underestimated the Thais. But at the moment, it looked to be overrun by the Thais. Titaton. The ball cut out by Zach Duncan before he could reach Sufanat. Already on a yellow card, remember Duncan. It's a much younger squad that Graham Arnold's put on tonight than the one against Iraq. Supachok tried to poke it through, but couldn't get it past Laws. Oh, he's got such a great footballing brain, Superchok. Superchai, Titaton. Everything he's done, the left full back tonight, has turned out golden. Well, he's got the likes of Tiraton Bunmathan, who plays in the J-League. There's real heroes to look out for. But the way he plays, the way he controls the ball and moves up from his left full-back position, it's very much reminiscent of an older left full-back in the early 2000s, Dusit Chalangsam. Same style of playing. The Australians lose the ball yet again in a very dangerous position. It's happened way too often already. Can the Thais finally punish them? The cross comes in straight at the Australians. Maybe Kritsada should have taken that shot on. Maybe he didn't have the confidence to take that shot on. But it's all Thailand. And the crowd here at the Rajamangala is letting everyone know what the score is outside the stadium. Sorawit. Pass hit a little too hard from him. For Michok. Thomas Deng. Would have been offside. And Bowman wasn't very too happy with Deng actually pushing the ball out to him too quickly. Graham Arnold's saying to Deng, his captain, that he needs to hold on to the ball a little bit and get some cadence into their play instead of just banging the ball right up there and giving the ball right back to the Thais, because they are the ones who are producing the rhythm at the moment. The Australians all at sea. The chance to pounce right back. Italiano always wants it on his right foot, gets it on his right foot. Couldn't produce the cross though, with Tita Ton closing down on him at every stride. Fleeting chances like that have to be taken, because they have been premier since the 15th minute of play. The first 15 certainly belonged to the Olyroos. Well, you'd have to say that the Grandmaster, Nishino, has done his work. He preached patience after the debacle of the SEA Games, where for the first time in the 2010s they didn't win a gold medal, didn't even make it out of the group stages. Just the third time since the SEA Games were turned into an age group tournament that they didn't get out of the group stages or win the gold medal. That's when he said there are bigger fishes to fry, and this is the tournament that he was eyeing. He's kept his word. Supachok, here is Sufanat. We've seen very little of him. Sufanat, that's a brilliant cross. Supachai was stretching all the time. Just too much swerve behind that cross by Sufanat. And because of that, that ball was just going further and further away, and even the long legs of Supachai couldn't get any sort of meaningful contact to it. How clever was Sufanat? Well, somebody asked for his ID, asked for the proper ID. I'm not suggesting anything here. I'm just saying that this boy has got brains of a player who's been playing football his whole life at its highest level. Just at a time when they needed him to hang on to the ball. Sufanat Mwanta had two players closing down on him, and he waited for any sort of contact and went right down and won the free kick. Titaton, a real up and under, which is easily defended by Dylan Ryan. Almost very good control by the impressive Sorawit. Piscopo was fouled 2 times over. That's the first one by Shinafat Liao. That's the referee will bring the ball back for. There is Zach Duncan. Deng lost control of the ball. There we go. Look at how much time he has at the ball. At least he gives you the impression that he has got time. Supachai trying to just drop it behind the back line. Giagostino does well enough to win that one in the air. Titaton allowing the ball to run between his legs. Got a little lucky then. Sufanat cross, which is easily picked up by Ryan. And again, after that header on by Anon, the goal scorer. So the front players have all scored except Supachai. Michok, I don't think he intended that, but it almost turned into a glorious goal for the right full-back. Twice already, Tom Glover has been caught backpedaling. And twice he'll tell you he got it covered. But I'm sure Flutters were experienced at beatiest moments inside the heart of Tom Glover. He is one of 6 players who featured at the last AFC Under-23 Championships. Goalkeeper Tom Glover, although he didn't play. yet again very loose. Oh, the referee having to call it back for a free kick. Sodowitz, he felt was a little too strong and eager into the challenge and went right through the back of Zach Duncan. Very unlucky then. Sodowitz just being the standout performer in this first half, if you ask me. Every time he has possession of the ball, time just slows down and quality is just there for all to see. Supachai has gone down injured. The crowd want the ball to be played out. Piscopo, though, continues the run up front. Gersbach, the cross way too deep. Thomas Deng will try to rescue this, which he does. Australia continue to play on. The crowd not too happy with it. The Thais have to defend. It was in the end by Michuk. And right now, maybe they can play the ball out for treatment to be granted to Supachai. He's asked for a medic to come out as the rest of his teammates look for replenishments. It's yet again nothing malicious in that. It's a clash of knees. Sometimes slow motion makes it look as if he was faking it. I think it looks as if he's okay. But those are the type of situations where knocks happen and you only feel the effects of it a second or two later. And as I said, on a slow motion replay, it just looks as if he was faking it. But here's the goal again by Anon Amanlötsak. You'd have to say very good finish. Disappointing from Glover to allow that shot from Titaton to actually sneak through and hit the upright at his near post. Still had to be finished, and it was emphatically by Amanlötsak. Bangkok United player who scored 5 goals last year for Bangkok United and also 5 goals for the under-23s. What a way to start 2020. The first Asian tournament of a new century, of a new decade, I should say. And Thailand are going great guns at it. For 2.5 halves of football, they have thrilled. Supachai is just outstanding. His vision was exemplary. Sufanat! That would have been a special goal. Certainly had the cojones to actually take a shot on and curl it around the goalkeeper. Well, the form that he's been in, as I said, sometimes you just close your eyes and have a swing at it, and you see the net rustling. The Australians have kept a closer watch on him than the Bahrainis did. He's going to be a watchman in this tournament. I tell you, Sufanat Muanta. They put their best men marker on him. Thomas Deng taking him out of his right centre-back slot to put him at right back. That is a huge compliment to the teenage assassin. D'Agostino, guilty of throwing that elbow on Kritada. Ball's played in behind. This will be Glover's. Sufanat has pace, a lot of it to burn, and he went through the gears there. Almost could see those sparks coming out of his heels, but was way too close to the penalty box to really affect anything. Just the 7 shots from Thailand against 1 from Australia. Talk about dominance since the 15th minute of play. The Australians had the better of the exchanges, but really only had 1 shot at goal. That was Bowman actually going through instead of crossing the ball to D'Agostino, trying to open his body up for a shot to the far post, which didn't work out. Not the best of controls from Anon Amanlötsak. Was waiting to take the contact, and he thought that he was going to get the free kick. The referee says play on. This time will be a free kick. No, says the referee. Piscopo's got away with it. Piscopo certainly has a shot on him if he decides to take this one on. It's through, and it's a goal. The equalizer from D'Agostino, the poacher supreme. The reason why Australia are here in the first place. Scored 2 against South Korea in the qualifiers, and he just needs that one chance. That's the reason he's put up there, and he's shown exactly why. Graham Arnold has put his faith on the number 15. Everything about this came through Piscopo, including the charge, the muscles, then the pass, but the finish, well, it was pure, wasn't it? From Nick D'Agostino. First goal that Thailand have conceded. They've conceded it at a horrible time, just before half-time. It silenced the stadium a little bit. They might be checking VAR here. It might be on Piscopo, certainly. D'Agostino certainly was onside, but he might be checking it for Piscopo's charge on Sorowitz, which led to the goal. The Australians are saying we didn't do anything wrong there. Graham Arnold will be very, very unhappy if this is chalked off. He's going through the necessary. It's only if the people at the TV tower can't decide, then they would ask the referee to go have a look at the monitor pitch side. We saw that in that game between Japan and Saudi Arabia, where the ones at the TV tower couldn't decide whether it was a penalty. All checks complete. Goal is legal. 1-1. And they've abandoned their position at the back. Here is Supachok. Oh, it was opened up for him to go down the left-hand side, but he wanted to cut inside to use his favored right foot. The chance was gone. And Onaman Lutzak wins the free kick. Brave enough to get to the ball first before opponent. And that was the main difference. 2 added minutes to the end of this first half. We did say that Thailand have conceded at a horrible time. Well, this is even worse for the Australians. Not just before halftime, but having just scored, and to concede straight away after that, that would be not just a sucker punch, but it'll be a heartbreak and a dagger. Glover's got to ensure that his wall keeps its discipline and height, of which they have a lot. Kritsada's behind it. Surely they're going to give it to Supachok to take this one. And on Onaman Lutzak, we've already seen him smashing the ball into the back of the net. Surely it's going to be between him and Supachok. Kritsada is there too. Anon's left it. Kritsada, always wide. Scored 2 this season, including a free kick in the Thai First Division. It was a free kick that wasn't as wild as that. Well, it was just a moment where they lost their focus, Thailand, and they weren't strong enough in central midfield to hold on to the ball, asking for soft free kicks. The referee, for once, did not oblige. The Australians broke away and punished them for it. Play to the whistle. Nishino will be reminding his charges about that. But if you were to tell Nishino and his boys that it will be all square at the half, they would have taken it. Space opening up for Michok to storm forward. Kritsada trying to drop it into space. Thomas Deng strong enough, but how good was Sufanat in getting to the ball against a bona fide international defender who's playing football in this tournament for 3 editions already. Thomas Deng, seconds remaining of this first 45 minutes. The Olyroos have found a way through this Thai defense. which Bahrain couldn't breach in the opening match. But they've conceded themselves, despite a very good start in the first 15 minutes. They couldn't take advantage of it, and then Thailand came right back. The goal from Anan Amanlutzak came off the upright after great work by Titaton. The finish, though, was so emphatic. And then the Australians, 2 minutes before halftime, came storming back. Piscopo scored the opening goal of the tournament with that strike against Iraq. This time turn provider with that slide rule pass, finding D'Agostino. And he dispatched it with all the clinic in the world that you could find. Halftime score, Australia 1, Thailand 1.
Every day is better with friends.
Historic Australian Open title. She's on.
The world of Rolex is filled with stories of perpetual excellence. Over 20 seasons, Roger Federer has made an impact on and off the court. From challenger to champion to record breaker to icon. Wherever he goes next, he will continue to inspire the world. This is a story of perpetual excellence, the story of Rolex.
He's a good driver.
Oh, Matt Bucket.
You're specialist.
How will you like to take risks?
Roger Federer, because he...
The angels, if they keep him low. How do I
He can't believe what he's done. The champion is good. He's the world champion. He got hit. That was the moment.
Welcome to the blue carpet. It is a big night. A lot of the famous folks you see in Hollywood during award season.
And the critics' choice is?
The critics' choice is... I'm overwhelmed. Thank you so much.
The 25th Annual Critics' Choice Awards, January 13th, only on Fox Movies.
This is the AFC Under-23.
16 teams.
We are good to go.
On a hunt for the coveted title.
Oh, what a strike!
And a chance to qualify for Tokyo 2020. Featuring Asia's most promising players.
And the gamble pays off.
Catch Vietnam in the AFC Under-23 Championship. Monday, 9:05 p.m. Live on Fox Sports.
In December 2017, Thai superstar Thirasin Dangda agreed a season-long loan move to Japan's Sanfrecce Hiroshima. Although well-travelled as a professional footballer, moving to the historic city on the Japanese island of Honshu was a leap into the unknown for the veteran striker.
ก็จริงๆมันก็แปลกแหละมันก็ต้องปรับตัวแบบใหม่หมดเลยอะไรเงี้ยภาษาการเดินทางญี่ปุ่นด้วยความเป็นญี่ปุ่นอ่ะมันก็จะแบบมีอะไรที่ไทยเราไม่ได้มีอ่ะวินัยมากขึ้น ต่อแถวอะไรต่างๆมันเปลี่ยนไปอะไรเงี้ยก็แต่ก็สนุกนะผมว่ามันก็เป็นเรื่องดีผมก็ได้เรียนรู้ว่าแบบผมมาเจออะไรบ้างแต่ว่าก็โชคดีมีแบบมีล่ามที่คอยแบบสื่อสารภาษาญี่ปุ่นให้ก็แบบปัญหาเรื่องภาษาก็แทบจะไม่มีเลยที่ไทยสบายไงแบบผมพูดได้ผมไปไหนก็ได้กินอะไรก็ได้อาหารไทยอะไรเงี้ยก็นี่แหละหลักๆก็มีภาษาอาหารการกินแล้วก็วัฒนธรรมที่ต้องเจอนะแต่ว่าไม่ได้บอกว่าแบบกินไม่ได้หรือว่าทำไม่ได้หรือว่าไม่เข้าใจวัฒนธรรมเพียงแต่ว่าสิ่งที่มันต่างกับที่เราเจอ
When Tirasin moved to Hiroshima, he did so without his wife and family. Despite having to leave his loved ones behind, his previous experiences have helped him settle in.
ไม่นะผมว่าผมอาจจะแบบชินแล้วผมเป็นเด็กโรงเรียนประจำอะไรเงี้ยคือแบบไม่ได้อยู่กับพ่อกับแม่มาตั้งแต่เด็กแล้วอยู่หอมาตั้งแต่เด็กนั้นก็จะแบบผมก็ไม่ค่อยชอบไอ้การจากลาเท่าไหร่ไอ้ช่วงเวลาเนี้ยก็จะให้มันผ่านไปเร็วๆหน่อยอะไรเงี้ยใช่คือแบบจะไม่มีมากอดสนามบินอะไรแบบจูบแล้วแบบจะไปไม่ไปอะไรเงี้ยคือแบบคือไอ้ใจมันโอเคใจเราคิดอยู่แล้วแหละแต่ถ้าเหมือนแบบเราไม่ไปสักทีเราไม่ก็ยังจะอยู่แบบก็ยังอยากอยู่กับพ่อกับแม่อยู่อะไรเงี้ยวันนั้นแบบผมก็จะไม่ค่อยชอบช่วงเวลาไอ้การจากลาใช่ก็จะแบบอ่ะโอเคไปแล้วนะอะไรเงี้ยโอเคก็แยกย้ายอะไรเงี้ย
The move to a new city and club was eased significantly by his new teammates and coach, who went out of their way to ensure the transition was as straightforward as possible.
ก็ช่วยครับทุกคนเลยอะไรเงี้ยเพื่อนร่วมทีมโค้ชเองทีมงานสตาฟโค้ชเองอะไรเงี้ยคือแบบมีปัญหาอะไรให้บอกมีเพื่อนก็จะถามว่าแบบกินข้าวได้ไหมปกติเรากินอะไรเงี้ยไปกินที่ไหนบางทีเพื่อนก็ชวนไปกินข้าวด้วยกันอะไรเงี้ยใช่แล้วก็โค้ชก็มีมาคุยว่าแบบเหมือนแบบตอนนี้เป็นยังไงบ้างพยายามให้ปรับตัวนะมีอะไรก็บอกเขาได้ที่แบบโอเคเรามีปัญหาอะไรเงี้ยซึ่งแบบทุกคนก็พยายามช่วยซึ่งแบบเป็นทีมที่ดีอะไรเงี้ยมันเลยแบบเหมือนทำให้รู้สึกว่าแบบผมนั่งอยากเข้าไปเป็นส่วนหนึ่งของทีมเขาเหมือนกันเลย
Food plays a big part in day-to-day life in Japan. Hiroshima, and indeed the country, has found a fan of its cuisine in the shape of Tirasin Dangda.
อร่อยนะถ้ามันเป็นที่อร่อยมากๆมีซูชิแบบทำแบบตัวอะไรเป็นเคาน์เตอร์อะไรอย่างเงี้ยครับก็อร่อยนะผมไม่เคยกินแล้วรู้สึกอร่อยขนาดนี้อะไรเงี้ยคือแบบเป็นอาหารสดเราก็จะมาอธิบายว่าแบบคืออะไรบ้างแล้วก็จะมีหอยนางรมก็อร่อยแล้วก็จะมีที่นี่ก็จะขึ้นชื่อโอโคโนมิยากิ
And when the time finally comes to leave the city and club, the memories of Hiroshima will be nothing but good ones.
จะคิดถึงบรรยากาศทุกอย่างที่นี่มันก็อยู่ในความทรงจำของผมมันไม่สามารถลืมมันไว้ได้หรอกอะไรเงี้ยความทรงจำดีๆที่นี่ก็มีแบบมานี่ไม่เคยเจออากาศร้อนที่ญี่ปุ่นก็ได้เจอที่นี่แล้วก็โอเคไม่เคยเห็นแบบช่วงซากุระบานอะไรเงี้ยผมก็เห็นที่นี่อะไรเงี้ยใช่ก็หลายๆอย่างก็ที่เขาเคยพูดถึงญี่ปุ่นอะไรเงี้ยผมก็เจอที่นี่ผมก็สัมผัสที่นี่เพราะนั้นแบบความทรงจำที่มันดีๆส่วนใหญ่มันก็อยู่ในหัวผมมันก็นึกถึงทุกอย่างบรรยากาศเพื่อร่วมทีมใช่สนามฝึกซ้อมเองอะไรเงี้ย
Pep's treble, Jurgen's European triumph, Ollie's challenge, and Frank's return to the bridge. That's yesterday's news. We go again, looking ahead to a brand new football season. And through all the twists and turns, I'll be there to give my take. Trust me, there's going to be plenty to discuss.
This is the AFC Under-23.
16 teams.
We are good to go.
On a hunt for the coveted title.
Oh, what a strike!
And a chance to qualify for Tokyo 2020. featuring Asia's most promising players.
And the gamble pays off.
Catch Thailand in the AFC Under-23 Championship, Tuesday, 9:05 p.m, live on Fox Sports.
Agent LaCroix, I'm on my way.
Don't underestimate this fugitive. Our job is not to bring justice to the most wanted. Our job is to bring the most wanted
to justice.
In position.
We find out what's behind it. We find out his next move.
All new FBI Most Wanted, Wednesdays at 9 p.m. on Fox.
Sporting art at its finest. Oh, it's just amazing.
So good, so tempered, so perfect.
This is turning into quite a performance, delighting the crowd, embracing the occasion.
Oh, absolutely sensational.
That had a bit of everything in it.
And it just gets better and better.
I have to fight for a title, fight for matches.
I've always tried to remind myself that this is what I've always wanted to become.
Every professional athlete wants to be in the zone. You feel divine.
I've given myself the opportunity to fight in front of the best crowd in the world. There's absolutely nothing better.
Welcome to the Hero Indian Super League.
The season is ignited. It doesn't get much more exciting than this.
Hero Indian Super League.
We travel for a reason. To learn, expand our perspectives, build relationships, find adventure, or discover the unknown. And it all starts at 30,000 feet, in a place where you're transported to different worlds, savor exotic flavors, or even just let your dreams take flight. Whatever you choose, a lifetime of memories are waiting for you. Capture photographs of your most unique and extraordinary travels for a chance to fly with Singapore Airlines and win a unique National Geographic expedition.
Some players come to notice like lightning, gone after an instant of brilliance. But for a 5-year period between 1998 and 2003, Rivaldo was a player of influence and standing, with few peers at club and international level. During that half-decade run, Rivaldo won Liga titles and the Ballon d'Or with Barcelona, the Champions League with AC Milan, and the World Cup with Brazil. Playing for 15 teams over a marathon career, Rivaldo won many more honours, but none with the impact and importance that made him a player of rare skill, influence and achievement between 1998 and 2003.
And welcome back to the Rajamangala Stadium, where Thailand are drawing 1-1 with Australia at the moment. Earlier on tonight, it was also a draw in Group A between Iraq and Bahrain. Iraq having to come back twice to draw that match. So the Iraqis have come back thrice already to clinch draws in the AFC Under-23 2020 Championships. Once against the Australians and twice against Bahrain. They sit on 2 points in the group, with the Bahrainis on 1 point, Thailand of course on 3 points, the Australians also on 1. So win tonight will take Thailand through to the next stage. They know that coming into this match, and that's the reason why Akira Nishino has put out his strongest lineup, hoping that his final match will be scratched and he can put the fringe players in to gain some playing time, leading to the quarterfinals, of which they've never tasted in the AFC Under-23 Championships. Big chance here tonight then for the likes of Anon, who scored the first goal by ramming it into the back of the net, and the Australians who have shown as well that they have their very own star striker in D'Agostino, very much built in the same ilk as Andy Carroll, the same style in terms of the hair, the beard, and as well as the muscles on his body, very good in the air as well. He does have that long throw as a weapon, but more importantly, he has that eye for a goal, as we saw. Just the one chance, and he slid it into the back of the net after the pass from Piscopo. Australians make one change at the start of the second half. Denis Jeanroux, player who was born in France, comes on. Keanu Bacchus comes on as well for Laws. Is it Jeanroux coming on, but not Bacchus? We will give you confirmation of that in a while. It might be a graphics error then. But Denis Jeanroux is certainly on. The number 10, who is a creative player and has a real eye for a pass. Might be a big danger here for the Thais, who are rampant in midfield and really forcing the Australians to kick the ball out. That's Jeanroux with his first touch of the ball, and that's what he's all about, just trying to stitch up play in the center of the pitch, making sure that these short passes are played to keep the impetus of attacks going. Sorowit does likewise for Thailand. Thititon, who had an outstanding first half, trying to combine with Supachok, who has been drifting all over the place and given Zach Duncan such a hard time, at least in trying to catch up and keep up with him. Thititon. He didn't really have this sort of game as he did against Bahrain. That first half, it was just flashy from him so many times. He just showed up and did things that even magicians would dream of. Kritsada, side by side with him is Shinafat. He uses his captain, the man who scored the opening goal in the qualifiers against Indonesia. Shinafat Liao. The Thais lost the one game to Vietnam by 4-0. In fact, Akira Nishino is saying that they were lucky to be hosting this event, because if it had been a straight-out qualifying campaign for the Thais, they wouldn't even have made it for the AFC Under-23. So grateful to be here because of hosting rights. Let's take full advantage of it, of which you'd have to say they have certainly done. Supachok allowed that to run quite brilliantly to his brother Sufanat. He's continued his run. Sufanat took some time before he looked up and spotted him. So here is Supachok. He's eluding one challenge, not the other. Sorowit's always there to mop things up with a quite exquisite pass. Yet again, finding Thititon. Sufanat inside to Anon. Got it down first time, but the ball just hit at him at 100 miles an hour. So too much sugar behind it. And couldn't really take it in his mid-drift to create any sort of an opportunity there for himself or a teammate. Thititon, Sufanat. Well, at times it was very much a frenzy in that first half and very hectic for the Thais. And that's the reason why Akira Nishino probably has asked them just to slow things down a little bit at the start of the second half, get some measure of control in the game, ping the ball around, get your teammates involved, get everybody's boots warm, and then find that opening when it arises. Not to go at such a frenzied pace, and even they couldn't. Well, they've burst the lines pretty well for this latest attack now. Thititon trying to look for the angle for the cross. It's well defended by Deng. Just close the angle down straight away. Supachok. Kritsada saying go back to Sorowit, of which he does. Here's Thititon. Supachok's shown. Across though, lacking any sort of height. It's almost the perfect ball that was played through then. Tackle by Michok on Piscopo. Here is Sufanat, abandoning his left-sided position just to get involved because he lost the ball. Kritsada always protecting the back line with all the jealousy in the world. Surely that's going to be a free kick. The referee waited until there was no advantage to the Thais before giving it. Jeanroux, the challenge that came right through. Plays for Melbourne City, of course, Denis Jean-Raw. He's got a goal in the FA Cup this season and one for the under-23s as well when they played against Lusail, Qatari club. This is almost the most lukewarm part of the game so far. There is control. So because of that midfield battle being on, not a lot of goal-scoring opportunities. It's almost the lull in a game that has given us so many chances already, isn't it? 5 minutes into the first half. But once you've been spoiled by almost end-to-end stuff, especially from the Thais in the first half, it seems very lightweight. Don't know what the referee is talking about right now. Might have been offside in the build-up to this, but once again they turned to VAR, and there was almost no need to. Supachai desperately wants to get involved. That's the reason why he's dropped from his centre-forward position. He's almost bored there, just occupying the centre-backs. He's decided to go wide to try to influence matters a little bit. Nishino won't be too happy as well with that ball that was pinged too direct. Graham Arnold won't be too happy with his goalkeeper's kicking today. Another dodgy one from Glover. Michok to take the throw for Thailand. Finally, Kritsada calls claim, and it's easily picked up by Jean-Raw. And he's brought in just to ensure that there's a bit of stability in the middle of the park, which Laws didn't provide the Australians. And the Thais came at them. He was giving the ball away far too frequently and far too easily. And Zach Duncan, who is usually the man who goes box to box with those lung-bursting runs, makes a typical one through the heart. Be taken out by Sarinkan Promsupa. Free kick in a dangerous position now for Australia. They scored late in the first half. Can they score early in the second? We've all seen how dangerous D'Agostino can be in the air, so he will be one of the targets. Surely Murakutas as well, all 1.88 meters of him, going right inside the penalty box, just to be a real nuisance here for Korafat and gang. Jean-Raw to take this. Graham Arnold senses something here. "142 minutes of football. The Thais haven't trailed yet at the AFC Under-23 Championships. Might this be the time now? It is swung in. It is very deep. It's gone through everyone. It's Dylan Ryan couldn't provide the finish. It came off him more than him attacking the ball. Sorowitz, space opening up here. There's only one up front though, and that's Anon. Supanats decides to go for goal himself. He was hoping that it was a shot come cross. There would be someone at the end of it. Supachai was very deep in his own half trying to defend this, and then sprints right up front. Deng more measured from the Australians at the start of the second half. Very much the same way they started the match in the opening 15 minutes before Thailand were let loose and flew out of the gates. Space opening up inside the penalty box yet again for D'Agostino. Shot is on for Jean-Raw, decides to just play it around. Piscopo has asked for the ball back. Here he is, Piscopo. Jean-Raw. Look at the space opening up here for Gersbach. Very deep cross. Oh, they've asked for handball. It's very, very weak and meek appeals. Supachai Jaidet went through a couple of challenges, but not the third. That was Piscopo. Jean-Raw, Gersbach. We haven't seen much of him as an overlapping fullback in this match or this tournament. But, finally saw glimpses of it in the last minute. Graham Arnold will be pretty happy with the way his team started. Another one of those coaches who's had all the awards come his way domestically. 3-time A-League Coach of the Year, Graham Arnold. He's 2-time assistant coach, of course, for the Australians, 2-time interim coach for the national side. This is not good news for the Thais with Sufanat Muantai. He's gripping his knee. The signal is that everything's okay. And he just needs some repairs and maintenance work. Well, he has been bright and pretty sprightly so far, but we haven't seen much of Sufanat Muantai yet. We certainly saw a glimpse of him and what he can provide, and the reason why Graham Arnold's decided to include Nick D'Agostino in the team ahead of Toure. It's just one chance, that's all he had. He gobbled it up. They do have Toure to call from the bench, the Australians. And the Thais have got Jaroensak, a player who came on and scored 2 goals against Bahrain after replacing Sufanat. Loads of space opening up. Here is Sufanat, back fit again. Titaton, another disappointing cross. Wasn't the best of clearances, so Supachok deciding to take a real spank off the ball and came off a defender. Minchok's got to watch this, and he played it diligently and very intelligently to Charing Khan. Titaton continues staying up there, almost found its way through to Supachai. Titaton, that's a dangerous ball. On the blind side, D'Agostino just stole in. Charing Khan just in front of him. It's very good covering by Sorowit. Jean Rowe. Shinafat just preventing the ball from getting forward. Players in the box waiting for a good delivery. It almost was from Italiano. Although actually it came from D'Agostino looking for Italiano. Corner Australia. Will this pressure be sustained in the second 45 minutes? It wasn't in the first. Thailand just got to soak it up now and then find ways to unlock this Australian defense again, knowing that they have already done that on numerous occasions in the first half. Titaton, totally nowhere to run, no room at all. Thomas Dane just managing to get the ball away from Sufanat. Just hasn't worked out for the teenage assassin. The Thais profiting from yet another loose pass by the Australians in the midfield area. Charing Khan, Titaton, Sufanat, brilliant ball. It's kept alive as well by a quite brilliant pass out to Anon. Great defending by Gersbach. Kritsada, Anon, goal scorer, surrounded by golden jerseys of the Olyroos. Charing Khan. Sufanat gets the ball back from Titaton. Sorowit just seems to just walk through matches, doesn't he? Well, the shot is on. Kritsada, the crowd encouraged him to take it, but he didn't. Supachok yet again no way through this Australian backline. They're forced to be very patient here, the Thais. But the good news is they are prepared to be. Just finding that perfect ball to play right through the defense and take some running off the ball from the front men. The Australians trying to push up and play a very high line, and this one's in the end, running short of patience, the Thais, and Nishino wouldn't be too happy with that. Everything was going great until that crossfield pass that was put out by Shinafat, looking for Superchok. On the hour mark, still 1-1 as Gersbach is trying to steal yards on this throw. Shinafat almost giving the ball away. They come away with it. Michok didn't want to get involved with that, and straight away apologized to the bench for getting too much involved with Shinafat. Korafat. It's easily headed away by Ryan. Oh, that wasn't too nice, was it, from Piscopo? Once again, a complaint to the referee that an elbow was thrown there. And Turkey Mohammed Al-Qadai of Saudi Arabia wants to have a word. Temperamental, isn't he, Piscopo? This is not good news at all. It's the second time that Sufanat has gone down. They need someone with his attacking flair. It's the second time that Supachai has gone down as well. Are they feeling the strain now? The Thais are playing 2 matches in 3 days. All it's put through to Superchok. Still Superchok. Skied it. Just a glimpse. Just a glimpse. And usually that's all he needs. This time though, he went right underneath it after finding space against Modikutis. Replacement upcoming for the Thais. Nantawat Swangkiao ready to come on. He is a centre forward, an out-and-out centre forward, which might mean Supachai going out wide to take the place that Sufanat is at, because I don't think Sufanat can continue. And then Nantanat Swangkiao will take the place of Supachai right up front. Well, he's actually taking the place of Supachai and not Sufanat, so it's a straightforward swap. Supachai must really be hurt for him to be taken out.
Substitution for Thailand. Player number 9, Supachai Jaidet, replaced by player number 19.
Well, they've signaled to the bench that Sufanat can't continue as well. And his replacement in the last match is Jarawansak. So I think that he has been summoned as well. Anon will take Sufanat's position for the time being. Just need to hang on here, the Thais. The Australians raiding. Arnold wants them to play a little bit more before playing that long ball. They've been guilty of doing that a couple of times already in this match. Nantawat's first very good one. His second, he couldn't complete it and control it. Gersbach just slightly behind. And in the end, Pritsada almost helping out the Australians, not getting too involved before sliding in with the challenge, which thrilled the crowd. You love to see a battle, don't they? And here comes Jarawansak.
Player number 17, Supanat Muenta, replaced by player number 13, Jarawansak. ทีมชาติไทยขอเปลี่ยนตัวผู้เล่นโดยเปลี่ยนผู้เล่นหมายเลข 17
D'Agostino comes all the way to take this throw. Well, with those two replacements And those two star strikers taken out from Thailand. The Australians now sense something. Might feel that the ties might be rattled. Might be a good time to actually just heave this one in and put some doubt into the Thai back line. It's Nantawat who comes out with a saving tackle and intervention. Jarawansak ensuring that Thomas Deng goes backwards. Ryan, touch on was from Jean-Ro, by Episcopo, I should say. Surely that's going to be a foul. They've looked at the referee, but the referee says play on. A chance to run at them from Italiano. It goes all the way out to Gersbach. Couldn't get the cross in after some diligent work by Michok. Well, it's been all Australia in the second half. They seek the goal and the 3 points that'll take them ahead of Thailand in the table and put them in prime position to qualify for the next stage. Something which they haven't done since the inaugural tournament in 2014. Thomas Deng runs right across. This one's gone so deep. It's on target from Bowman, but just not enough sugar behind that header. And Korofats was watching the ball track all the way through. Yet again, though, stifling from the Australians in terms of the press. Duncan's looked a new player since he's had extra support from Jean-Ro in the second half. Just bursting forward at every given opportunity. And here was the chance. Bowman got it on target. There was help behind as well, which he ignored. Nantawat trying to chase this one down. Glover hasn't done too well with his kicks, but that was a brilliant one. Speared right through. What's the referee given now? Australia are going to make their second substitution. Oh, that's handball, Gersbach. Good spot by the referee.
Substitution for Australia.
Toure comes on. Hartley had a sniff in the first game. He's been in very good goal-scoring form, scoring on his debut against the Chinese and then scoring against South Korea in a friendly just a week before the tournament. They're playing with two centre forwards. The Australians certainly feeling it now. Momentum on their side, and they're trying to just shut this one off. Deng. Morakutas looking for Toure. Way too long. A draw wouldn't be the worst result for Nishino, of course. I mean, you'd love to qualify after this. You'd love to just go through to the quarterfinals after this match. But the big problem for them, and the danger, is that will their two players up front, their two star players, Supernat and Superchai, actually be fit enough to play in their final group game against Iraq in 3 days from now? Nantawat does well to win that one in the air. Michok coming storming in with a header. Glover just putting laces through the ball. Oof. Smacked right into the chest of D'Agostino. Sorowitz was watching the ball all the way, but we'll get a yellow card for that. That was a very high boot from Sorowitz. The Thais need the crowd to just get going a little bit because it's gone a little quiet here at the Rajamangala Stadium.
Number 16, Sorowitz from Thailand. ผู้เล่นหมายเลข 16 Sorowitz ของทีมชาติไทยได้รับใบเหลือง
That was a real knock from Sorowitz. Huge difference first and second half. Just controlled matters and controlled the midfield in the first half, and you'd have to say very well done indeed to Graham Arnold. I think you saw that Joshua Laws was really struggling in the first half to try to keep up with the Thais. We're outrunning them at the center of the pitch, especially Sorowit. So he decided to bring on more assured passer of the ball and real axis of the team in the shape of Donny Jeanreau. And he has made a huge difference. We haven't seen much of Jaro Unsak yet. D'Agostino is made of steel. We've seen that already. And he gets up from that very high kick into the face from Sorowit. "20 minutes remaining." Titaton, another one of those players that we haven't seen much of moving forward. This has been all about defending in the second half. Super Chalk took that one brilliantly. Great cushion from him. Jaro Unsak. Michok breaks to Anon. The shot will come in, should come in from Sorowit. He tried to do too much in the end. Might have done better if he had just produced a shot and pulled the trigger instead of hanging on to it. Toure versus Korafat, who came and had to get any sort of contact on the ball, which he did. Piscopo. Lantawat closing that one down. Not the best of touches, though. That certainly was from Sorowitz, and a brilliant ball that was just a little too hard for Super Chok. Sarin Khan could have let that one go for his goalkeeper. He decided to take any chances, and would be very grateful that Toure wasn't following up for the Australians. Monakutas certainly towers above his opponents, especially now that Supachai Jaidet is gone, but it's on the ground that he can be had. Jaro Unsak, Titaton, Oksomsri, all the way back to Sarin Khan. Titaton. Jaro Unsak, great work by Deng, anticipated that very well. Titaton comes storming in with that challenge on Italiano. Well, he talked about the Australians and the Thais meeting at the ASEAN Football Federation age group levels. Jacob Italiano was very much part of the 2016 under-16 side that drew 3-all with Thailand in the semi-finals. Most of this team as well played in the under-16 team against Thailand in 2015, and the Thais won 3-2 in the semi-finals. So they have met each other before, but never on the AFC levels. It's very good from Jaro Unsak. Not the best of passes, though, from Shinafat. It's kept alive, barely. Kritsara will have to run back now. He looks pretty tired. That's going to be offside. It has to be offside. No, the referee doesn't flag. Piscopo! Straight at the goalkeeper. If he had continued down that left-hand side, he might have opened the angle up, but he didn't trust his left foot, so he cut inside. And there was enough of a shadow coming from Shinafat Liao to make his shot a little more difficult and make him stretch and shoot. That took away the power and safely and gleefully into the arms of Korafat, the goalkeeper. Michok told not to steal any more yards. Piscopo. It's pretty easy against Michok, who gambled and lost out on it, but Shinafat at least was there covering. This is intriguing stuff, isn't it? We haven't had the same end-to-end free-flowing football as we did in the first half, but it's nail-biting moments. You don't know what's going to happen. Thomas Deng. Duncan. Gersbach. Jean-Ro. Duncan. D'Agostino. Australians have kept the ball very well here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased to announce...
And that's brilliant from Piscopo. Gersbach! Superb goal! It's that man again, the fox in a box, D'Agostino. He profits, but the build-up to that was mouth-watering. The Olyroos ahead, Thailand behind for the first time in this tournament. They can't hold on. Yet again, the genius of Piscopo with that little flick right through to Gersbach and D'Agostino. With time and space in the penalty box, there was only going to be one outcome. Every time he plays, he scores. He did it twice against South Korea in the qualifiers. And he's done it here again in his first start of the AFC Under-23 Championships 2020 in Bangkok. And after 3 winless matches, Australia on their way now in the AFC Under-23s to securing a victory against the Thais. Surely there doesn't need to be a check on that. The Thais are prepared to kick off already. They know the outcome. They trail 2-1. And 2 of their star strikers are out of the pitch. Both injured, Supachai and Sufanat. What started out bright and sunny for the Thais has just turned darker than the night. Great character shown by the Australians, you have to say. And now, what does Nishino's boys have in terms of their character? Supachok getting it back, trying to run through on goal. He was just snuffed out of it, body checked by Modukatus. Not the best of passes by Michok to Jarawansak, who wanted the ball right on his feet. Gersbach, creator of that second goal, might very well prove to be with the winning goal. Dylan Ryan ensuring that nothing gets past him. Do the Thais have a trump card now that Supachai is out? They give the ball away again. Great touch by Toure. That was sublime. Piscopo with a chance to run right into the box. Piscopo just behind. Oh, total miss kick there. Toure! The referee's call for handball. It was actually D'Agostino. That was a total miss kick. And then he made it up by setting it up for Toure. Oh, was that handball? Didn't look like it, did it? Well, it did come off his hand. It looked very accidental. He had the awareness, though, to pick out Toure. That could have been his hat-trick very easily. Should have been. The Thais have a lifeline. Deng, Italiano. Couldn't keep it in play. He too tiring very quickly. Titaton couldn't keep it in. Great work by Italiano. Oh, they have the insurance of that win, and they might have to take it to their final game now against Iraq to qualify for the next stage, but at least they have that final match to qualify for the next stage, which was all Nishino wanted at the start of the tournament. Super Chok, well spotted by Deng, well picked out by Sorawitz. Pass though was anticipated to its max by Ryan, who continues staying up front. Here is Toure, happy to take that challenge. Will it be time now for Rino Piscopo to seal this one for the Australians? From almost the exact same spot where he scored against Iraq on the first day of competition. Lethal with that right boot. Rino Piscopo, the Thais would have seen that from the first day. He's relishing this. See from his eyes, he's getting almost everyone out of the way. Just duck underneath it a little too much. Deng hooking it away. Well, Thais can't believe it. Sorawit thought that he won that one fair and square against Zach Duncan. So it's gone the way against the Thais. I don't think it was Sorawit's challenge. It was more his teammate who got involved then. Super Chok leading into Duncan that the referee called for. That was a free kick, that's for sure. Michok. Can the Thais summon one last opportunity, at least one last chance and sighting of the Australian goal? That is a brilliant ball played out by Kritsada. Chanawansak charged down by Deng. Sorawit! Well, that had some venom, and it was traveling, but straight into the arms of Tom Glover. His first real save of note in the second half. At least it's woken up the crowd. Graham Arnold's decision to ring the changes justified, and maybe Akira Nishino should have done the same, because his players look as if they're suffering from a huge dose of fatigue here. Might have one last trump card to pull in Warachit Kanitsripumfen, Thailand. Warachit is one of the goal scorers in that famous 5-1 win for the Thais against Australia in the 2016 AFF Under-19 champs. Oh, it's poor defending. Toure couldn't squeeze the shot through. Italiano wasn't too happy that Toure didn't make use of him. Deng, though, intervened with a brilliant sliding challenge. Didn't back it up with a cross, but it's kept alive by D'Agostino. Piscopo Agostino not too far away. Gersbach. Antawat asked to chase. Italiano does well to keep it in play. Zach Duncan asks for the foul. The referee says play on. But they've given it right back to him. Tita Ton, who's also looked very tired in the second half. That's very good defending that time by Sarinkan. Sorawit turn on a spin, wonderful. You can't believe it. It's a substitution that came right on straight away, gets involved. That's first taste of the action by Rami Najarin.
Substitution for Thailand.
Well, they love him, Warachit. He's had a very distinguished youth career. He hasn't really been in sparkling form over the last couple of seasons. But that can change if there is a starring performance. So here is Warachit, first touch of the ball. Just to sweep the ball wide, can't find a teammate. Jaro Unsa couldn't keep it in play from Tita Ton's a very tired looking pass. You could tell from the body language of the Thais when they conceded the goal just before half-time. Totally deflated. They were dominating the Olyroos before that. And Agostino slid in and poked the ball home for 1-1. All slouched, couldn't believe it. And in the second half, very much in keeping alive with what they always say about scoring before halftime. It's probably the best time to score because psychologically the Australians just took that into the second 45 minutes. They have really bossed matters, especially in the middle of the park. The Thais guilty of doing what the Australians were doing in the first half, which was giving the ball away cheaply, especially the midfielders. Piscopo. Jean Rose made a huge difference since he's come on. Just being that little rock in front of the defense. Orukutas just managing to get to the ball and contact to the ball before Superchok. Toure is peeled away from the central defenders. Piscopo given time to shape that shot and measure it. Couldn't take advantage of it. Didn't even get a sniff in the first half, but in the second half, so much room to operate for Rino Piscopo. Just a minute remaining, plus whatever time the referee wants to add on. Back to the drawing blocks for Nishino. More worryingly, it might be a board which cannot include the names Sufanat and Superchai for the final match against Iraq. At least they'll go into the match knowing that a draw might do it against Iraq. Unless Bahrain come up with an astounding scoreline against the Australians. I think the draw against Iraq would be good enough to get Thailand through to the quarterfinals. Our crowd have gone very quiet now after all the festivities in the first half, when they were just serenading these youngsters. Can't find anything to be inspired by in the second 45 minutes. That fleeting cheers, hoping that Nantawat will get at the end of that hopeful punt from Sarin Khan. Five added minutes. This might elicit some cheers for the crowd. But at the moment, they just can't get the ball. Sean Rowe, Deng, Italiano. It's actually Najarin, I should say. Duncan. Deng, back to Duncan. Game management by the Australians. Just keep the ball, don't do anything silly. Najarin. Kritsada claiming that Najarin is faking it. He will see yellow. It's a couple of times already Kritsada has come in with the stats showing in this game. And finally punished for it. The Australians trying to wind down the clock now. Well, this is pretty disconcerting. The Saudi Arabian referee has just been consulting VAR at almost every decision. Surely with that yellow card that he's given, doesn't need to consult VAR. The Australians break away. Toure, two players in the box waiting for a good delivery. Here is Toure. That is a good delivery. Once again, the hat-trick spurned by D'Agostino. Another poor finish. Najarin couldn't control it. Najarin to the far post. Toure should have finished it. Well, if the Thais sneak something out of this, the Australians only have themselves to blame, because it's a couple of times already D'Agostino been put in very good situations, much tougher than those moments where he actually scored those goals, and he couldn't find any sort of contact with the ball at all. And Toure right in front of goal after Najarin had pulled it back and right across goal brilliantly, couldn't find the finish. So the Thais get out of jail, and they still have 2 minutes to find this equalizer. Charaunsak. Nantawat, was he dragged down? The crowd thought so, the referee didn't. Then again, the referee did. Just here, the Rajamangala now go crazy. This might be it, you know. Dead ball situation. Send players forward. Might be deep, but still, here's your chance. Kritsada come in, too close to the goalkeeper. Way too close to the goalkeeper. Glover. Anywhere would do from him. Sarin Khan, not the best of clearances. D'Agostino. Happy to find Toure, who I'm sure would find the corner flag. Does even better by winning the corner. Just winding down the clock right now. Nishino will have to plan for Iraq. He was hoping that he'd get his fringe players a run out. He won't be able to do that. He might have to, with a couple of players, to replace Sufanat and Supachai, depending on whether they recover in time for that game. Sufanat's injury especially didn't look too good at all. Supachai might be okay for it. They've got 3 days to recover from the injuries, and more importantly from this result, which looked pretty positive after 24 minutes when Anon Amonlötsak gave them the lead. They couldn't add on to it with missed opportunities from Supachai and Sufanat. And then just before halftime, D'Agostino struck with his first real opportunity. This was the opening goal. Anon Amonlötsak thrashing it into the back of the net. And then the equalizer just before halftime, D'Agostino sliding it through. The winning goal was absolutely brilliant because the passing movement and the phase that led up to it was mind-blowing, perplexing and befuddling for the Thai defence, who were totally flummoxed by the movement of the Australians. Gersbach pulled it right back for D'Agostino, who could have had a hat-trick in this game. He spurned more opportunities at the end of the match. Full-time though, the Australians now lead Group A by winning 2-1 against Thailand.